If a boss in a video game is easy, what makes it so important? Greetings from all Crosswind. In this video, we're going to talk about why Kalle Demos is the best Zelda boss. What Kalle Demos does that is better than other bosses is very significant for me personally. Even though Kalle Demos is an easy boss, we have to give credit to how he is a rather sensational boss. When I say sensational, I am talking about the overall feel of the boss itself. Every single movement feels good, every single analog slide across back and forth feels good. When you are fighting Kalle for the first time, you may even notice this from just even using the boomerang and the magic leaf. Everything feels good from how you are moving around the items, pushing buttons, and injecting the idea that you can actually leave this boss with a sensation that doesn't even rival the idea of it being hard or easy. The boss room itself looks amazing because the color scheme is just what fits for a plant boss in the general space of an Zelda game. Instead of pots, you have grass to cut for hearts, you have the roots grounding around the entire room of the boss, and you have Kalle rooted himself into the upper ceiling, which goes down into the middle with his big bulby body in appearance as a very threatening boss indeed. But my favorite reason for why Kalle Demos is so interesting is coming down to the idea of disgust. When things are unfair, we think about things that we have to do, things that we can't do, and so forth. Most bosses in most franchises in video game history, or at least the ones in the Zelda franchise, require you to use some kind of similar pattern or way to fight those bosses. Said pattern is even inquiring the idea of your weapons being limited to each boss. If a new gamer to the Zelda franchise doesn't know this by the time they play Wind Waker, they're going to be quite alarmed, as using the boomerang and the magic leaf is quite only the only ways you can actually fight Kalle Demos, with the exception of the grappling hook being able to work on the boss halfway through the fight. I feel like all these factors, along with the weapons and the pattern of fighting the boss, are examples of disgust. Even the very ploy and simpleness of the boss and how you're getting there is very disgusting indeed. When having to save Makar from a plant boss, you're having to realize that this is the only way you can save him, yet this is the only time you're coming across Makar in the first place. The unfairness literally roots from the idea that you are having to do certain things in order to save Makar, and in order to retrieve him back into the Forest Haven. My philosophy for disgust may be rather complicated and complex in general, but for me it is a way of explaining how Kalle Demos is a very entertaining boss, and how you can actually observe him from a standpoint that makes sense if you really think about him, instead of actually detaining him against the idea of him being easy. Sure, it may be true that a hard boss will be very rewarding, but an easy boss with a sensational curve to it is by no means a flaw in itself, and for that I give Kalle Demos the award of being one of the best bosses in the Zelda franchise. Or failing that, you at least get to hear one more person that doesn't say that he's too easy of a boss to beat, even though I haven't said much of that in this video in general. Heh.